Welcome to the third episode of our podcast entitled Unpacking Culture and Identity. Hi, guys. Welcome to the third episode of our podcast on popular culture entitled Unpacking Culture and Identity. So, we are from BSN 11. I am Shamel Tobias.
I'm Adrian Aquino.
I am Ralia Bellapiano.
I'm Patricia Dumlao.
So, we are the group 10. And first things first, how are you guys feeling today? Feeling good or not so much?
Feeling good.
I'm good.
I'm feeling good.
Okay, so I hope that the listeners are also feeling great today, and I hope you guys learned something from us today. So, what we're going to talk about today is about unpacking culture and identity, like what I have said earlier. So, here we're going to explore the role of culture in shaping our identity or a person's identity. So, do you have any ideas?
Yes. Culture identity is self-identification, a sense of belonging to a group that reaffirms itself. It is the extent to which one is representative of a given culture behaviorally, communicatively, psychologically, and sociologically. It consists of values, meanings, customs, and beliefs used to relate to the world. It reflects the common historical experiences and shared culture codes which give us, as one entity, a stable, unchanging, continuing frame of reference and meaning. People's judgments about whether they or other belong to a culture group can be influenced by physical appearance, ancestral origin, or personal behavior, as well as dressing, speech, holidays, and celebration. A historical event, political condition, who is present, situation site of interaction, and public discourse also affects culture identity. Also, culture identity is dynamic and constantly evolving. It covers the entire lifespan of a human being and changes every moment based on social context. Cultural identity is the constantly shifting understanding of one's identity in relation to others.
So, any ideas?
For me, it is essential to first understand who we are before we can understand others. Identity is about knowing what is acceptable and true for ourselves. We form cultural identity when we subconsciously interpret and incorporate signals from the world around us into our own identity so we can belong. Our cultural identity is a critical piece of our personal identity that explore who we are in terms of our values, beliefs, attitudes, and other sociocultural identities, such as ethnicity, language, gender, education, age, religion, and more. This also includes a shared sense of companionship, interests, and basic principles of living. An individual's identity can be understood as concept of the self and can comprise the personal and the social. Our social identity may be shaped by cultural influences and interactions with family and society, while our personal identity is shaped by intimate thoughts and life experiences, including interactions with different cultures. It is also important to be aware of our own cultural identity. Cultural awareness helps us break down cultural barriers, build cultural bridges, and learn how to love and appreciate those different from us. We can relate better to people with cultural differences as we begin to understand ourselves better.
I think a particular group or society shared values, beliefs, traditions, customs, and practices are referred to as its culture. The lens through which we see the world and ourselves is culture. It influences how we view what is morally right and wrong, good and bad, and what is appropriate behavior in various situations. Our self identity is significantly shaped by our cultural upbringing, our cultural families, communities, institutions. Wait,
Okay, that's okay.
wait.
That's fine.
Socialize us into our cultural norms, values from a young age. Our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors are influenced by our cultural background, which also has an impact on how we perceive ourselves and how we relate to others. While culture can nurture pride and sense of community, it can also be limiting. Individuals may be constrained by cultural norms, particularly when it comes to gender roles and expectations. For example, certain roles and behaviors are expected of women in some cultures, and any difference from that is regarded as abnormal. This may be oppressive and restrict a person's sense of autonomy and self-expression.
So, like what you guys have said, culture plays a significant role in shaping one's identity as it provides a framework for understanding the world and a set of beliefs, values, customs, and also behaviors that are shared by a group of people. So, in addition to that, our cultural experiences and exposure to different cultures can influence our identity as well because exposure to different cultures can broaden our perspective, challenge our assumptions, and also helps us understand and appreciate diversity. So, earlier you've said about the language, beliefs and values, traditions, and also our family. So, here are some ways in which culture can shape an individual's identity. First is the language, which is a crucial aspect of culture, and it shapes the way people communicate and understand the world because an individual's first language can influence their perception of the world, their thoughts, and their cultural values and beliefs. So, when it comes to the beliefs and values, culture can shape an individual's beliefs and values, including their religious, moral, and ethical beliefs, where these can influence an individual's behavior, decision making, and also the sense of purpose in life. So when it comes to the family and community naman, family and community plays also a crucial role in shaping an individual's identity because cultural norms and expectations within the family and community can influence an individual's behavior, values, and beliefs. So I would like to add the media and technology because it can also shape an individual's identity by influencing their perception of the world and their values and beliefs. So, for example, exposure to different media can shape an individual's worldview and understanding of different cultures. So, in summary, culture shapes one's identity because it provides a framework for understanding the world and a set of beliefs, values, customs, and behavior. So, an individual's cultural identity can influence their sense of self, their relationship with others, and also their worldview and their own behavior. So, I guess that concludes the third episode of our podcast. Would you like to add anything more before we end the video? I guess none. So, thank you for your participation, and I hope you guys have learned something from us today. Tune in for more episodes of our podcast. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.